And guess what? We are back. IRE 2023. Having an amazing time. We've had some special guests. We have even more special guests coming at you live. I think we're going to do one more show after this one and then probably relax a little bit and actually walk away from our spot and go and check out everybody else's spot before we take off and start tearing down. But man, we have, like I said, some amazing guests here with us. We got David Summerly. We got Leslie Vice, Presidente, El Presidente of EuroShield. We got the Southeast sales director of EuroShield. So guys, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into what EuroShield is. Why don't you give us a little bit of backstory on how you got into EuroShield?
I'm Leslie Gustafson, farm kid from Iowa, and worked for John Deere for a number of years. Ended up in Germany, had that international experience, wanted to go somewhere for my MBA. I'm aware there was a lot of international influence. Ended up going to Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, which led me to oil and gas in Calgary. And so I was in oil and gas in Calgary and ended up moving back to Iowa to be closer to family. And as I was leaving, I had someone I worked with that said, in the US, you're not great at recycling. And I've got a friend whose brother makes shingles out of recycled tires.
Wow.
And when I saw a sample of it, I was like, that is amazing. I want to be a part of that.
Wow.
So that's how it started 10 years ago for me and roofing.
Okay. All right. So EuroShield's been around for a decade.
24 years.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I really didn't know that till right now. Okay, cool. Now, David, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found EuroShield.
So I got in the roofing industry. I was in marketing and selling marketing, and I figured out roofers seem to have high tickets, and so it made sense for them to buy our marketing. So I sold marketing to a roofer that was doing install only, and they had a partner that they split off with and that I had sold our premium package to, and they called me in, and I thought I was selling them more marketing. And so I go in there thinking I'm making another sale, and it was an interview, and I didn't know it.
Oh, no.
And so they sat me down. They explained like some nice things, like, hey, you always answer the phone when we call, those kind of things, good characteristics. And they said, we'd love to hire you. And I said, oh, I'm not the right person for you. I don't know anything about roofing or this storm restoration thing that you've mentioned. I have a friend, I'll refer you over to him. And they're like, no, you don't understand. You're the right character. The other stuff we'll teach you in about 5 minutes. Sure enough, I got about 5 minutes of teaching on a roof. This kind of looks like hail. Here's some contracts, that sort of thing. Yeah. So I've had to learn, from there.
Yeah.
The next year, we had a big hailstorm hit Aurora, Colorado. And so I went out there, opened an office. We did incredibly well out there that next year. And while I was walking through a neighborhood out there, I found a roof that was just gorgeous. It was so pretty, I had to stop and go ask, what is this? And it was a EuroShield roof that Chase Johnson had put together. And they hand me a flyer, and in the flyer, I see guaranteed hailproof. That doesn't exist.
No.
And so I went and I showed it to my boss, and like, guaranteed hailproof, like, we need to sell this. It's just this Chase Johnson guy. He's real nice, real helpful. And he's the only one on their website. We need to go sell this. And he's like, yeah, we sell disposable roofs. We want them to have to replace it every 3 to 4 years. And that's not good for the customer.
No.
And so I've thought about it over and over again. And over the years, I would tell people, I want to sell this EuroShield product, and most people hadn't heard of it, but it was, new information I got to share for people. I love doing that. And then a year ago at IRE, I met Leslie, and she introduced, hey, Leslie with EuroShield, president of EuroShield. And, oh, I love EuroShield. Yeah. I want to sell EuroShield. She said, come sell EuroShield. So here a year later, things are rocking and rolling. It's been really wonderful.
So this is your 1 year anniversary?
IRE, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's where we met.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm glad to be a part of that, your 1 year anniversary. And by the way, happy belated, International Women's Day.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
So that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. Okay, so what's the difference between a disposable shingle and EuroShield?
Really, the difference is we've got 2 core pillars with what we do, and part of it is protecting your home. We feel that we do it like no one else, both from a hail point of view, because it's a rubber shingle, it dissipates energy, it doesn't dent, it doesn't crack, and we will actually warrant it as the manufacturer against hail, not just a class 4 product that the homeowner can get a discount on, but we actually stand behind it as well. In addition to that, it all interlocks. And so, so many people have issues with wind, whether or not you're even in a hail market. And with our product interlocking, it takes care of any issues of wind getting underneath it, ripping it off, warping, twisting, curling. It can't, because it's locked into itself.
Okay.
And then because it's 70% recycled tires, problem with tires is they don't go away. They either don't have enough tread to keep traction, or they're punctured and they can't hold the compressed air, but they still hold water. And really all you need is for that roof to hold water out of your house.
Right.
And so with that, and it being such a durable product, it's also going to last multiple times longer, even if you don't have hail and wind events.
Right.
So not only, for say a 35 square roof, or a 32 square roof, you're using about 300 tires on our standard products. You're also keeping 9,000 pounds of asphalt out of the landfill the next time that roof fails.
And you're pulling something out of the landfill.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's nifty. So what's the warranties like on this? Is it lifetime warranty? Is it?
It is a lifetime warranty. What that means for us, though, because we all know lifetime doesn't mean a lot in a lot of cases.
Right.
The first 5 years is full replacement, including all materials and labor. From that point through 50 years, it's 100% of the EuroShield material, non-prorated, transferable to a second homeowner.
Oh, nice.
For single family residences beyond 50 years, it also covers 25% of the original purchase price if something happens after 50 years.
Wow. That is, amazing. So in other words, this is basically going to put the asphalt shingle industry out of business, is what you're telling me then.
It it depends on where you are, because as we all know, weather conditions vary, and it also depends on how long you're going to be in your house. It's something where overall it starts around 2.5 times a standard spec grade asphalt shingle on a tear off and replacement. And so certainly we do the best in areas where there is a lot of hail, a lot of wind. We survived Hurricane Ian right up, not far from the coast in Fort Myers and Cape Coral.
Right.
And even, one of the houses actually had palm trees bounce off the roof, and no damage to the roof.
Wow. That is amazing. So I guess that would have definitely been like a firsthand experience on how well this product is most recently. So would you say, was it 100% success, or was it a 90% success rate?
All of ours there. So a lot of other systems may have failed out there. I can't speak for all brands, of course, and shouldn't speak for other brands, right? Go look for yourself. We've definitely replaced some other brands, but all of ours that were out there went through Hurricane Ian. I've gone and inspected them myself and got up there and taken pictures, video, the tarps all around everybody else's roofs, and our stuff held up.
That's amazing. 100%. So is it 100% recycled tires, or is there other products that adheses it together? Like what is it made out of?
So what we use from a recycled tire content point of view is basically like a gritty sand. And so we take that, and that's about 70% of our overall formula. In addition to that, binders, coloring, and fire inhibitors. So as well as ingredients that protects against UV and UV degradation, as well as an ingredient that helps in terms of expansion and contraction, so that the shingle doesn't move around that much as it goes through the extremes.
Okay, so it's UV protectant, so it won't fade or crack.
Yeah. So color itself, every product will change color to some extent.
Yeah, especially on the roof.
Absolutely, it's sitting in the UV, all day, every day. The difference with ours is our base color is black, and as that color pigment breaks down, all products trend towards their base color. So you take vinyl siding that, could be a white or a gray or translucent base. It's going to fade to a light color. With ours, for example, our grays will darken, because as that color does deteriorate over time, it's going to go towards that tire black base color.
Right. Okay. So how would it do up north, like in a colder climate? Same performance?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think of the extremes that tires have to go through, hot, cold, blunt impacts, expansion, contraction, they really can handle any extremes. We make this in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. To be honest, my opinion, it's winter half the year there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yes. No. Is that okay? So that's where they're manufactured, out of Canada. Okay, that's good stuff. So you're stating that it'll hold up against colder climates. It's for the most part, fade resistant. Like you said, anything will fade. And I guess the expansion and contraction part of it, how do you keep it from, maybe I misunderstood you. How do you keep it from expanding, contracting?
So there is a minimal amount. Everything will move a little bit over, over the temperature extremes. Say from -20 to 110. There's going to be some amount of movement, but we do have an ingredient base that limits the amount of expansion and contraction. We do make it easy from an install point of view, where there is a nub on the side of the shingle that just helps set the spacing between the shingles.
Okay.
So visually, it looks nicer. The keyway in between those shingles is the same as the faux keyways across the shingle. All of our shingles are really large.
Okay.
40 pieces a square, bigger than an asphalt shingle.
Yeah, I can see one there.
Yeah.
So as far as like labor intensive, how would you compare it to an asphalt shingle?
Yeah, it really depends on the roof layout. So if it's a simple up and over straightforward roof, it's going to be a similar amount of time for a crew that has done it before. The learning curve on this is not extreme. It's really just snapping chalk lines, and because it does interlock, you snap a chalk line, get your eave starter straight, and then like a wood floor, it'll go together pretty nicely if you're straight.
Okay.
You can make an adjustment.
So to compare it to installing a wood floor.
Yeah, it typically will start from a labor point of view around high-end designers, like a tri-laminate shingle that you're not going to take a hook blade and cut through. The more cut up it is, it's not difficult to cut. You just take a straight blade and score and fold it.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Drywall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have to buy any special tools or
No.
anything that you guys are selling to cut that stuff. 'Cause-
Don't even need a hook blade.
Really? So you just kind of score it like you would drywall, like you said, on the front or the back side of it.
Front is easiest because there are ribs on the backside, and then you're not hitting the ribs.
Okay. So the layout, when you're laying out your roof, do you have to, you said a starter, but do you have to, what I would call, book down? So is there a certain type of step that you would have to start out with?
Yeah, it's actually molded right in the shingle. It's either a 4 or 6 course pattern, depending on which of our styles it is. It's molded right there to show where you're lining up the next course as you go up.
Okay.
Row 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
All right. And I'm assuming you're going to want to pop lines like you would with any other shingle.
Really where you need to snap the lines is to get your eave starter started straight. And let's say you're coming up over the top of a dormer, you come up one side, snap a chalk line before you start your eave starter to make a little bit of an adjustment there.
Yep.
It's okay if you don't come up exactly in line and get it locked in. You can cut off the lock with your straight blade and hand seal a correction row.
That's what I was going to say. So it is easily corrected if there is an issue once you get up there. What we used to call them what I call is a back down. So like you said, you snap a line and then I'll measure down and I'll know how far off I am. That way, if I have to manipulate it a little bit, I can get it lined up. So basically it sounds like, as far as a labor point of view, it sounds like the labor is about the same as installing a regular shingle. Now, would you say it's quicker to install because it is bigger than an asphalt shingle, or the same?
You're putting on a premium or a permanent roof. And so with that, just take the time, make sure you're locked in, because it won't magically lock in later, of course. And so where you're typically starting around a high-end designer series shingle, it will creep up from there depending on how labor intensive or how cut up that roof is.
Right.
So
Okay.
it could cost double on a certain roof.
Okay.
Just depends. But
Now-
it's not going to cost as much as the individual synthetic or natural products, because you're covering 2.5 square feet to the weather on
Wow.
each shingle.
That's crazy. So you said something that made me think of something. What type of underlayment needs to be used? A special underlayment?
A synthetic underlayment, and we don't even have one that's ours that you have to use. If you have one that you prefer to use, no problem at all. On a 412 and up. If it's a 312, you need to be using ice and water shield on that.
Okay. So same thing as like a shingle. So up north, we have to use basically 2 courses of ice and water along the eave. That way you got 24 inches inside the warm wall. So basically the same process as an asphalt shingle or disposable shingle, as you like to say. And I kind of like that's pretty catchy. So what about a repair? Well, let's say the sheeting popped or something, and I got to get to the deck and make a repair. How difficult is that?
Because it is a rubber-based product, there is some flex to it. So yeah, you could take a putty knife, maybe a 4-inch blade or something if you can't get it with your fingers, just to help get it out of the lock.
Okay.
And it's not that you have to rip it all the way to the ridge. Yeah, let's say if you have to replace the skylight. So you can go ahead, pull it apart, if you're careful, you can actually reuse the shingles. So
Okay.
they're pretty tough.
Yeah.
And so then when you go to put it all the way back together, when you get to that last course, just like you would do a correction row if you need to, coming over the top of a dormer,
Mm-hmm.
you can do the same thing. And when you get to your last course, cut off that lock and hand seal it. We use Solar Seal 900. Adheres very well to our shingle.
Okay. Okay. So why that product? Why couldn't I use an asphalt based fibered blackjack, the old school blackjack, or could I use?
It needs to be something that will not harden because there is some amount of expansion and contraction with it. If you have something that hardens over time, it is going to crack or lose the adhesion with our shingle,
Mhm.
and then you got a problem.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question that probably a lot of people try to poke holes in this, and I'm sure you got a wonderful answer. So hopefully you do. So as far as like a lot of homeowners have asked me over the years, like, oh, I don't want to go with a darker shingle because it's going to create more heat. What would you say? Like, would this create more heat in somebody's attic? I mean, does it deflect the sun better than a typical shingle?
it's because it's rubber, it's not a reflective product. However, so the surface temperature is going to heat up similar to a standard asphalt shingle. Because there are air pockets on the backside, you've got a couple of layers of protection there where rubber itself is an insulator, but then the air really is a very good insulator. And so when it's not sitting flat on the roof deck, directionally, you're a little better off than you are with an asphalt shingle,
Mm-hmm.
but you still need to ventilate it like you would. One, just to make sure that you're not being harder on the product than you need to be. And obviously you don't want heat building in the attic anyway.
Of course, ventilation is huge.
Ventilation is huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A lot of homeowners don't have proper insulation and ventilation.
Yes,
is key to why most roofs fail.
Yes.
Did you know that? It's
it
like
doesn't surprise me.
90% of the homes built in the USA over the past 20 years are inadequately ventilated. I don't think most people know that.
Not enough or not even.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if a lot of people don't know how to calculate that, but that's a good point as far as proper attic insulation and ventilation. So as long as the attic is properly ventilated, really it's no different than an asphalt shingle. I mean, they're all dark color. They're all asphalt petroleum based products. I mean, yes, it's going to get warmer up there. We all know that as roofers that it does get warmer up there, but there's no way that you can possibly keep it from not being warmer up there than it would be on the ground standing. So
it may even be better with those air pockets, though.
Yes.
The feedback from the homeowner seems to be that.
Okay.
It's similar. The way I think of it is like a window where you have those air pockets that create a dead air space in there to keep that air from coming through, the cans of air, as they call it with windows.
Right. And I think they also say too, with those air pockets, and I think you touched on this briefly about more like an insulation factor, right? Have you ever had any case studies done that this might actually be able to insulate your roof or attic space better, especially in colder climates? Is there any R value, I guess, to it?
We don't have thorough testing. We have some rough testing done, more or less, that shows that it's slightly more insulative than an asphalt shingle.
I would imagine so.
Certainly sound deadening.
What's that?
Certainly sound deadening.
Yeah, for sure. So you don't hear it when it's raining outside.
It is a quiet roof. We actually have homeowners comment that they don't realize it if if the rain is not wind driven and it's not hitting the windows.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes them a while to realize it's
really
raining.
Yeah, I would imagine, because it almost feel like EuroShield's definitely a good name, because you're actually putting a lifetime shield on your roof with this product. I mean, and like I said earlier, David and I spoke a little bit about like this could revolutionize the roofing industry, because one and done. It sounds like it's a one and done. Where do you seem to find the most traction with this? Like, are you selling more of these shingles up north or down south in a storm prone area?
It certainly where we see our sales concentrated in any year has to do with the storming patterns of that season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did hail, what area of the Front Range, anywhere from Calgary all the way down to Colorado Springs, did hail hit that year? So whether it's Cheyenne, whether it's Billings, whether it's Calgary, whether it's Denver, depends on the year. And then of course Texas, and North Texas specifically, Just depends on which neighborhoods are going to get hit in any
Yeah.
given year.
Right. Do you see a lot of these being installed in Florida, in the Florida market? Obviously, duh, that was a dumb question because you just talked about Ian.
Yeah, certainly we're growing with David there, and his ability to make connections.
And that's his market.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So if I wanted to purchase these, where the hell would I get them at?
You can get them direct.
Oh, really? So factory direct?
Yes, it usually takes about 3 weeks from order placement to delivery for a single family residence.
Mhm.
So we are pretty quick. You can buy through your supplier if you want to. Our sales price is the same whether it's to the supplier or the contractor.
That's cool.
So it's up to the contractor.
Yeah. So if I put this on my house and I wanted to get the traditional rack style system of solar, would that be recommended or not? We can't do that if we had wanted solar.
Absolutely, you can. Really, all you're doing is looking for a mounting bracket that fits within the 9-inch reveal of our shingle and surface mounting it after the fact.
Okay.
And using the sealant to create the gasket and tightening down that lag screw as tight as you can without crushing the shingle.
Yeah.
But
okay.
it's a great product because then you don't have to pull off your solar racking next time hail comes through.
Yeah,
So.
seriously. So for me, it sounds like a no-brainer here. Is there anything else before we get off here that you guys want everyone to know about your product? Because I mean, obviously, if I needed a new roof on my house right now, and I'm not just saying this because you guys are standing here, I would seriously look into something like this for my own home. So is there anything that you guys want our viewers to know about this product? Like maybe something new that you're getting ready to launch, or I don't know, anything that we might have missed that we haven't gone over yet.
I'll let her talk about anything new coming up, but before we leave that solar topic,
yes,
really this is something better, I think, for solar because you're thinking a more permanent solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're putting the solar panels up there, you don't have to be taking them on and off every time you have to replace that disposable asphalt roof, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as that noise, sound deadening, it's a lot different than a metal where you're going to have a lot of that noise
Yes,
going on.
for sure.
The way I look at it is basically a win-win-win and a bonus. And the bonus is like a triple bonus. So the first win, contractor is able to put out a slate or shake looking product,
Mm-hmm.
one of the more expensive roofs you can buy out
Absolutely,
there, right?
Yep.
Without having to have that high cost. So they make a great margin while still being able to give the homeowner a more competitive price if they want something more special like that.
Yes.
The homeowner, they get what's probably the last roof they're ever going to have to buy.
Mhm.
And they might even be able to transfer it to their kids
That's what I
or
was
the next
getting ready to say.
homeowner.
Even the next person that bought their home 25 years later.
The insurance company's getting what they've always wanted, which is to collect premiums and probably pay nothing out.
Exactly.
And then as a bonus, it's great for the environment. You're keeping the asphalt shingles from going into the landfill later. You're taking tires out of the landfill. And then if for any reason you have a massive tornado, Cat 5 tornado, a tree comes through and has sharp branches and punctures it, whatever it is, it's a recyclable product.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a triple win for the environment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then you said you might have something new coming out on the market?
For this season, really, we're sticking with what we have. We're always looking at different options, but right now we're very confident with our product line. Part of being in the synthetics industry and us being around for 24 years is you either have to learn from where you can make your improvements, whether it comes down to the design of the molds or the formula itself. And we've got a product that's been proven for a number of years now, and we want to stick with it.
Yeah, it's been around longer than I have been. I'm just kidding.
And
Okay.
that sealant strip not being there and being an interlock instead
Mhm.
is a huge win because I think we all know that sealant strips fail.
Yes, I
And
got
us
another
not
question.
having a sealant strip, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So with that interlocking system that is built into the shingle, what's the win rating on these shingles?
So we test it to 160, 170 miles an hour, which is really how fast our third-party lab can sustain a wind for any period of time.
Yeah.
And so really it comes down to quality of install when it comes to the wind resistance. Just stay straight. So, and you lock that thing together and it'll go through Ian at 150 miles an hour.
It's
So,
amazing. It's amazing.
yeah.
And I've got to watch Matt's demonstration with his hail gun multiple times and have seen that you can't beat the hell out of this thing. I mean, you guys tried. I've watched you.
Yeah,
He's
bring
been
it.
shooting it for a year
Yeah,
at
it's
multiple
fun.
times the speed of real hail.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really fun to watch. So the biggest thing is if somebody wanted to start selling these within their company, if I wanted to start promoting EuroShield, what is the best and easiest way for me to contact you?
Yeah, you can either reach out to us through our website submission, euroshieldroofing.com. Give us a call. we're on social media.
Mhm.
Send us a message. So
Okay.
look up EuroShield Roofing. You'll find us.
And it's just simply that easy. Somebody will get back to us, and then we open up an account straight with EuroShield,
Yes.
cutting out the middleman. So you're not only selling the best product on the industry, and you're also cutting out the middleman.
And for a lot of contractors, they want to save that money, have more margin,
Of
or be able
course.
to be more competitive.
Yeah.
For some, they really prefer to use a distributor, maybe because they want it rooftop. They want to buy all their materials and have it all together.
Mm.
They don't want to have to pay for a residential lift gate or to have a loader of some sort there to unload it.
Yeah.
In those kind of scenarios, it makes sense maybe to go through a distributor. And so when we send over a quote, we have that conversation. Hey, how would you like to do this?
Mhm.
That way we know where to ship it to, how they want to go about that, make sure there's no surprises getting caught
course.
off guard.
Yeah, which might make sense, like you said, for them to rooftop stock it. I know ABC in a lot of regions does it themselves. They'll
Yep.
actually, up in Pennsylvania and Maryland, they rooftop stock our shingles. So
And
that's a
some
good
people
point.
have great
Even if you
supplier
had to pay a couple
relationships
bucks
that they
more,
love.
it would be
They're
worth
willing
it.
to pay a little bit more
Yeah, man.
for a better experience for themselves and for their homeowner.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, this is great stuff. I'm really glad that you guys came on the show because I learned personally myself a lot more about this product, and I'm sold. Because at first my fear was oh God, here we go. They're coming out with a shingle that might put not that wood, because I'm sure people always use asphalt petroleum based shingles, but this is revolutionizing our industry. And you've been around for 24 years. You've been like the best kept secret for 2.5 decades. That it's amazing. And that's why you got David, right?
That's right.
So hopefully that'll change.
It's been fun.
Yeah. We're having a lot of fun. Definitely, we appreciate you having us.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. David, you're a great dude.
I
He
appreciate
talks
you.
highly of you. So thank you guys
He
for
is a
coming
great
on.
dude.
Thank you guys for coming on. Cool.
It's been fun. I do think that there is a trend towards metals and synthetics. Asphalt roofs are still the majority of the roofs out there,
Mhm.
and probably will be for a long time.
Mhm.
So some of them last longer than others, right? And then if they don't get a lot of hail, wind, those kind of things, they are
Mhm.
going to last longer.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a trend towards these other products, and
Right.
you're going to see. And in my head, the roofers that are ahead of the game, that are already installing metals and synthetics, when that shift continues to happen in the industry, they're going to be ahead of things, so that they're the person that the people go to, whether it be through their SEO or whether it be through asking, have you done this before?
Right.
They're going to be able to confidently say, yeah, we've installed this many. I can send you pictures and addresses.
Wow. Okay. Cool. And that's where Project Map It would come into play.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. There you go. Big plug for Steven Spence over there. Steven, wake
It looks
up.
like a cool product.
You got a customer waiting on you. Just kidding. But anyhow, thank you guys so much. How much do they weigh?
So
That's a
all
good
of our
question.
products fall within asphalt range. Our standard profile products are 240 pounds a square.
Fonzie.
Our hail-proof product, 265 pounds a square. A typical spec grade dimensional asphalt shingle, architectural style shingle, will weigh typically between about 230 and 240 pounds a square. So there's really nothing. 24-inch on center, 7/16 OSB, half-inch ply. It works. Even our thickest, heaviest shingle, if
Mhm.
somebody is replacing a high-profile product and want that 3/4-inch butt edge, weighs 360 pounds a square, which is lighter than tri-laminate asphalt shingles.
Yes.
So
Wow. Amazing. And that's a great question. Is there any other questions? What's that walkability? Yeah. So what about the traction?
absolutely. Because it is a rubber product, when it's dry, it's amazing to walk on. You've got no granules slipping underneath your feet. And when it's wet, it is slick. But when it's dry, just a rubber soled shoe. Tennis shoes work really well on it.
Okay.
So.
Now, is there, okay, so I got that brought up another question before we get off here. Now, can we install it down to a 312 pitch, 12 pitch, or 212? Like how low can we go with it?
The 312 is going to be
312.
as
That's
low
like
as you can
standard
go,
shingle.
and that's where you're going to
basically.
use ice and water.
Yep.
Don't stick.
Ice and water. Now, how steep can you get up to, like a 1412 Mansard?
You can use it as siding if you would like.
Oh,
So
really?
because it's a rubber-based product, it's not going to tear around the nails.
Or
So
delaminate?
that's right. So the nice thing is a couple of things. It's not going to tear because it is rubber, and it's a really nice looking product. And
It
when you
is.
got something that steep, that's what you see when you drive up anyway.
Okay. Do you have other profiles other than like a slate? Is it like shake?
We
and-
do. the shake product is very popular because not only in some of the hail zones, if you take the Denver area, which was traditionally a cedar shake market, but not the right place for cedar shake today, they have covenants that require that look. Also does really well in the Pacific Northwest or up in Vancouver, certain areas of Minneapolis, Chicago, where people have cedar shakes and they don't want to replace it with a cedar shake, but they want to keep that look. So it's not only hail markets, it's also a premium looking product
Yes.
that looks like a shake.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a higher end, and a lot of people just want that higher end look, you know. And the difficulty of getting slate today, especially if you want to do a repair, the repairs are so expensive. You might as well just put a roof on your house, right? That looks like slate, that's going to last a lifetime. You can get another 50 years out of it, right? So no, I think you guys have a great product here. I wish you guys the best of luck. Is there any other questions out there before we sign off? Did we answer everybody's stuff?
Is it Title 24?
Is it Title 24?
We don't have a Title 24
know what that
certification within the state of California. Our SRA rating is not high because it's not a reflective product. We do have installs in California, just not in the state designated very high wildfire zones. We are fire resistant, Class C fire.
Wow.
We don't do a Class A product because what we would have to do to our formula would really detract from the overall quality of the shingle. So we
Yeah.
stay away from that.
Yeah, no, I would think that as well. No, it's a great product. I mean, once a fire happens, I mean, it's going to burn everything. It doesn't matter. Should
Everything
it?
gets destroyed in one way or another.
Yes.
Even if the roof's still there, like may say with a metal product, your metal is now compromised. You're replacing it anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially those wildfires out in California. I mean, it's taken out whole cities and forest. I mean, what's the matter what you have on your roof at that point in time? So, all right, cool, man. Well, let's get this thing wrapped up here, man. Thank you guys once again for coming on the show. Let's stay in touch, David. Let's stay in touch, Leslie. I love this product, and maybe it's something that we can actually throw in our arsenal up north.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you for having us on.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank
Love
you
watching
again.
you guys grow.
Yeah, you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in a little bit.